In Colorado, a conversation lingers. Not as loud as last year, but even time can't make it go away.
To know that there was someone out there who knelt down on someone's neck and did nothing.
And this filming of this man for 9 minutes, you can feel the shift.
The man on the poster never asked for people to talk about him. It's been a year since he was killed, and George Floyd's name is still a movement.
We finally get to talk about it.
As a musician from the South, Saja Butler saw racism all around her. When she moved to Fort Collins, she felt blacker than before.
It's like a fly in the buttermilk, honey child. That's what it's like. No, can I say that? I'm sorry. So if I'm the only black person in a white scene, I'm the fly in the buttermilk. You know?
When the world watched George Floyd die, Saja couldn't. People saw what she already knew and asked her to talk about it.
Before, it was like explaining water to a fish. People can't see what they're living every day, right? You can't see the privilege that you've had when you've always had it. Remember, things get better with time.
Saja sees each new conversation as a piece of her purpose that was missing.
The whole pie came together, and it was just like, oh, this is why I'm here. You're only one step away from everything that's great.
At a middle school in Denver, Quincy Shannon's conversations are not always deep.
Been hit by a smooth criminal.
The kids trust the dean of students with their joy.
You're almost there.
Because he understands their pain.
You know, I've been to more funerals than weddings, more wakes than graduations. And so having that experience growing up, I was just happy to meet certain milestones like 18, 21.
George Floyd never met 50. His story validated the one Quincy has always told.
When I was 18, 19, being beat up by the police officers in Denver, I didn't really even have the mindset to know that this would be an opportunity, that there would be moments where people would want to hear about that experience, would want to learn from that experience. At the time, I was just trying to survive.
I do the outlines, then you block it in. Okay.
Harrison Neely still thinks about surviving when he's pulled over by police.
Put your brush in the water, clean it. Oliver's helped me a couple times. I usually end up doing these in the middle of the night when I can't sleep.
Harrison wakes up because of George Floyd and all the names before and after him.
Some of these kinds of things seem obvious.
He puts these signs in the window, hoping his kids won't be another name. He makes sure they follow the rules for the same reason.
I need him to understand that you have to listen, because if you're in the wrong situation and you're not listening, then you might not be here anymore.
George Floyd's murder didn't change that fear, it amplified it.
I feel like I have to be more strict with my boys. It's hard because at the same time I feel like I'm taking their light.
Those after-hours moments sometimes seep into the day. He hopes when his kids become adults, they can sleep through the night.
We are adding this Colorado State Patrol.
Leslie Herod had to make her own hope at the state capitol.
For too long, I think we haven't had representation that looks like me. I mean, I'm the first Black, queer, LGBT elected official in Colorado.
The House Democrat has worked on a bill to change policing before.
Members, I want to bring us back to the entire bill.
But it wasn't until last year that she says lawmakers listened.
Absolutely, these were conversations that not only Republicans wouldn't have, but Democrats wouldn't have either.
Colorado became one of the first states to reform police departments after George Floyd's death.
Was that use of force necessary on that woman, that elderly woman with a disability.
Representative Herod keeps the conversation going on the House floor this year, too.
It doesn't always mean passing policy, but are you having the conversation at your kitchen table?
CJ Renaud wasn't.
There's so much bad in the world. I try not to ever let it come here.
She works from home now,
You want to see former life?
but CJ spent more than 20 years away from a desk.
And it was a very challenging day and time for me to be a former police officer and a black woman in these times.
Reconciling those two identities started a conversation with her husband.
Yes, I told him that I was too blue to be black and too black to be blue.
So she kept talking and reading and learning why her black experience might have looked different from someone else's.
Wherever I've increased my education, I've done that much better.
Using what she learned led her to a new job at a nonprofit university.
That work is running after people who look just like me, people who need education just like I did, people who, when they get that education, their trajectory will change.
Education led Joe Buckner to his own boxing studio.
My life didn't change much because of my privilege.
Change is not a word he takes lightly.
I don't know what can change when your skin is the weapon. I don't know what can change.
Joe won't try to convince people he's right,
I don't know what can change.
but he'll keep sharing his experience.
I don't know that we'll ever change the world, but we can change our little corner of the world by just trying to understand why people feel the way they feel and believe what they believe.
On every corner, there's a conversation. One that's happened and one waiting to be heard. Every year brings a chance to listen.